All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into Clementson Wayside Park. This little park, it really caught my eye, and I think it's because of where it's located. Right there along the Rainy River.
Oh, yeah. A pretty significant spot when you think about it. The Rainy River is not just some scenic waterway. I mean, it's the border between Minnesota and Canada.
Right, exactly. Man, that's got to give it a certain, I don't know, certain something.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're talking about a river that's been a lifeline for, well, centuries, really. Think about it. Transportation route, logging, fur trading, all that history is kind of baked into the Rainy River. And Clementson Wayside Park, well, it's right there, soaking it all up.
So it's not just about the scenery then, right? There's this historical echo in the park itself.
You got it. And I think that's part of why it feels so peaceful. Like, you're surrounded by all these whispers of the past, but at the same time, you've got the untouched beauty of the river and the forests. It's a special combination.
I can see that. It's not just quiet. It's almost like, well, stepping back in time a bit.
That's a great way to put it. And, being a smaller park helps too. No big crowds, no noise. That really amps up the tranquility. Just you and nature,
I get that. Now, I'm a bit of a bird watcher myself. And I've heard Clementson is like a hot spot for that. Something like over 75 species recorded.
Oh, it is. It's incredible the variety you get there. Because on the one hand, you've got the river that brings in all the waterfowl. Herons, ducks, that sort of thing. But then you've also got these boreal forests all around. And that's where the songbirds come in.
So you're getting like two worlds of birds in one spot, all thanks to the park's location.
Exactly. It's a birder's paradise, really. Oh, and don't forget about the walleye. Rainy River's famous for its walleye fishing.
So you could be casting a line.
Yeah.
Surrounded by this incredible bird symphony.
Now that's a picture, isn't it? And the park itself, it's designed to keep things simple, Focus on the nature. So you've got your picnic areas, walking paths, and those views, of course. Always those gorgeous river views.
I can practically feel the relaxation already, just sitting there with a picnic basket watching the birds. Okay, so we talked about the history, but the outline mentioned some pretty unique climate data for Clementson Wayside.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's kind of got its own little microclimate going on there. For one, it's way drier than you'd think, given all the water around. We're talking precipitation levels lower than 71% of other recorded locations, at least according to our data.
Huh, that is surprising. But what really jumped out at me were the temperatures.
Yeah.
Those summer highs being lower, and then winter. So those lows are something else.
You're telling me summer highs cooler than 87% of other places, and then the winters, we're talking colder than 99% of recorded locations.
That's extreme, It really makes you wonder how anything survives out there.
That's what I was thinking. Like, what kind of plants and animals can handle swings like that?
Well, that's what we're going to be digging into. It's all about adaptation, resilience. Those are the themes we're going to be exploring as we go deeper into Clementson Wayside Park.
I'm ready. Let's dive in. It's fascinating, isn't it? You'd think with all that water, you'd get more rain, more snow, but it's really quite dry. And yeah, those temperature swings, they definitely make a mark, on what can actually live there.
So tougher, right? Plants and animals that can handle the extremes.
Exactly. You're not going to find any, delicate orchids out there. No way. But you might see some pretty hardy wildflowers, trees that can really take a punch, like black spruce, jack pine. And the animals, well, they got to be tough to handle those scorching summers and then, bam, frigid winters.
Speaking of history, the outline I have here, it mentions Clementson Wayside Park being close to some, well, pretty significant historical markers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you're right in the thick of it. Historically speaking, just a stone's throw from the park, there are markers for the Great Fire of 1910. That thing swept through the whole region.
Yeah.
Devastating. Changed the landscape forever.
Wow. A reminder that nature, well, it can be beautiful, but it can sure be destructive too.
No doubt about it. And then there's Massacre Island. A bit of a darker chapter, in the area's past. It goes back to the fur trade days when the Rainy River, it was a vital route, but also a lot of tension, conflict.
It's kind of wild, isn't it? This peaceful little park, and it's surrounded by all these, echoes of major events.
Yeah, it's like layers upon layers of stories there. And you can feel it, when you're in the park. It's not just about the scenery, it's that sense of history, like you're walking in the footsteps of all those who came before you.
So it's about connecting with the past as much as it is about, escaping into nature.
That's it. And I think that connection, it makes the tranquility even more powerful. Like you're surrounded by reminders of resilience, of the human stories, the struggles, and then ultimately the peace that's settled over it all.
I like that. That's a good thought. So for our listener tuning in, what would you say is like the main takeaway about Clementson Wayside Park? Why should they care about this little park up in northern Minnesota?
That's a good question. I think it comes down to, well, simplicity, you know? It's not about flashy attractions or like manufactured entertainment. It's about experiencing nature on its own terms in a place where, well, history and peace, they kind of meet.
Sounds like the perfect antidote to, the modern world. Things can get pretty overwhelming out there.
I hear ya. I think we all crave a little bit of that, whether we realize it or not. That chance to slow down, breathe, just be present in the moment.
I know I do. So besides the park itself, what else is there to do in the area?
Well, you're in Lake of the Woods County, right? And that's prime natural beauty territory. Lakes, forests, you name it. And you're not too far from Voyageurs National Park if you really want to get your wilderness on.
And for those who, appreciate a little roadside Americana, there's always the Willie Walleye statue in Baudette.
Ah, yes, the legendary Willie Walleye. Can't miss that if you're in the area.
It's a reminder that even in the quietest corners of the world, there's always room for a little whimsy.
You got that right. So whether you're looking for solitude, a connection to history, or just a chance to experience, the Northwoods in all their glory, Clementson Wayside Park and the area around it, they've got something for everyone.
Sounds like a place where you can really, escape the ordinary and find something, extraordinary.
I couldn't agree more. And sometimes those are the most important journeys, the ones that take you a little off the beaten path.
It's funny. It really is amazing how a place that seems so simple on the surface can actually be so deep. You know what I mean? Like, both in terms of its natural features and all that history we were just talking about.
Yeah, for sure. It really shows you that you don't always have to, travel to the ends of the earth to find something really special. Sometimes the most fascinating places are right there, waiting for you practically in your own backyard.
So true. So for anyone listening who might be thinking, hey, I want to check out Clementson Wayside Park, what kind of resources would you recommend? Where should they go to learn more?
Well, the first stop should probably be the Minnesota DNR website. They've got a really good site, tons of info about the park. Maps, what kind of amenities they have, even some historical background.
Perfect for planning a trip.
Exactly. And for all the birders out there, you can't go wrong with eBird, the website and the app. It'll tell you what birds people have been seeing in the park recently, and you can even log your own sightings if you go.
That's cool. A great way to, connect with other bird watchers.
Yeah.
And it's citizen science too, right? Helping track the bird populations.
Totally. And if you're really into the history side of things, I'd say check out some local historical societies and museums. They often have amazing exhibits and, tons of archives that can really bring the past to life.
So basically, whether you're a hardcore outdoorsy type, a history buff, or just someone who enjoys, being out in nature, Clementson Wayside Park and the whole area around it have a ton to offer.
It's a place where you can really get away from it all, escape the craziness of daily life and get back in touch with the things that really matter. The peacefulness, the history, all that natural beauty. It's all there, waiting to be discovered.
Well said. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into Clementson Wayside Park. We hope you enjoyed tagging along with us and that maybe you're feeling a little inspired to do some exploring of your own, whether it's in your own neighborhood or somewhere a little further off the beaten path.
Yeah, keep those adventurous spirits alive, folks. And remember, there's always something new out there, just waiting to be found.
Happy exploring, everyone.